needs to come to unravel. So questioning, and the police said the bleeding continued at home. That is where we need to pay attention to, that the bleeding continued at home. And also, Baba Mohbad said he saw blood, and the sister to Mohbad, the hands to Mohbad also said she also saw blood. So the presence of blood is not consistent with the stories of Baba Mohbad himself, the Mohbad's hand, and the police. And the police said it bled, the bleeding continued at home. So how then did the wife fail to notice the bleeding? That it was just a minor cut, and so they need to give us explanation. And those individuals, the people that surrounds him, the Adura, his brother, and DJ Bami, that seems to play major roles, will be put on trial. So then the court will see those who are lying, and then they can remove.
Okay. How do we manage this? So, I think Joseph Aloba may have gone somewhere to say that he saw a duvet soaked in blood. Yeah. Which is contrary to what he said to at the inquest in the CTC, as in a bit or a tiny spot or whatever. So how do we engineer the two? Because these are the same people that are going to come as a witness because they want to kind of exhibit and declare what they saw. But there is an inconsistency between someone going to a media house expressing that they saw a duvet soaked in blood, and then when it went to the inquest, his story changed. How do we manage that?
Now, all evidence in the criminal proceedings, all evidence must be presented by the police. Now, we do not know whether such evidence was presented to the DPP as contained in their preliminary investigation. And also, from the coroner, like I said, the coroner will determine how Mohbad died. How. And then what happened and where. You see, these three key factors, as contained in the coroner report, will suggest what really happened to Mohbad to a complete fact to the coroner, to the DPP, plus what the police presented along, because it's a complementary report. The police will do their own report as well, and then the coroner will do their own report as well and present to the DPP. But we want to see, especially through the most interested party, which is Baba Mohbad, what report did the police present to the DPP? And why was profusely bleeding? Why was it removed from their presentation to the police? Which suggests that the DPP only charged the nurse and spending alone. Why did they withhold that particular investigation that they did themselves? Why did they withhold it from the DPP? This is what we assume had happened if there are no collaboration between the DPP and the police to give soft landing for whoever they want to give soft landing for. But we assume that the police did not present this information. And so this is where the writ of mandamus will come in. That, okay, you did a preliminary investigation. Why didn't you present this preliminary investigation, even if you are not going to do further investigation? That we have enough information that the DPP should charge the case to a higher court because it assumed that manslaughter and whatever had been committed against Mohbad. And if peradventure the coroner court comes out with evidence of manslaughter or evidence of what happened to Mohbad constituting a form of manslaughter or murder, then that case at the magistrate court will be moved to the higher court. You see, the battle here is to ensure that this case reaches the higher court. This is just what we want. And then they can now proceed from there. But if we are stuck at the lower court as the DPP are trying to put us down at the lower court, we'll not get justice for Mohbad. It is their own kind of justice that will be delivered. So, and the push is to ensure that this police report, preliminary report, must be forwarded to the DPP. And so if the DPP now sees that there are no merit in it, and then the public pressure will now come in. How can you tell us when the police told us Mohbad bled profusely from the show and he got home, the bleeding continues, and the people around him said he refused to go to the hospital and they watched him pass away after waiting for a nurse more than 24 hours, which is a deliberate manslaughter. They wanted him to pass away because of that injury. That is compelling enough. And so the public pressure will come in, and then we'll have to push the DPP to push the case to higher court.
So the public pressure can lead us towards sort of like negligence if it needs be. Now, the problem I have with this situation is that 9 days after he was buried, the body was exhumed. Now, Joseph Aloba clearly wasn't there. And I know landmark cases in respective countries in the world, the moment Mr. Joseph Aloba mentioned that he found a duvet soaked in blood, what the authorities and the forensics will do is to request for the duvet, even if the duvet is being washed. And I believe that there are technologies out there that they can actually use to do a spotlight on the exhibit to find the magnitude of blood on that duvet, even if it was washed away. Now, if you don't have the duvet as an exhibit, then what you have at that point in time, even if the police start a thorough investigation right this minute, every evidence that they can find is all gone. I'm sure the house maybe is being occupied by someone else, is sold to someone else, or whatever the case may be. And the inquest is drawing to an end. So are we not looking at a situation whereby our focus is only going to be on the High Court? Why? Because it's just too late for any of this information. When the police went to the house as well to collect the syringes, why is it that the only thing the police was interested in were just syringes? And we know that there are more syringes found there, despite the fact that 9 days is gone before the exhumation of the body. And then there are those syringes. Were they planted there? One. Do we now know which one the police collected and why? Why not the entire number of syringes? And then why not forensics on all the syringes in its entirety? So the police, as far as I'm concerned, have failed the system. They failed the public. They failed Mohbad. If they have gone in there to select specific syringes, when you will expect them to get all the syringes, do a forensics about the syringes, all the contents of it. Maybe you even need to tailor it back to where the syringes were procured, so that if the nurse sort of like came with 3 syringes, administered whatever she administered, and we have more than 3 syringes, if we then look at the concoction of what is found in this guy's body when the autopsy or toxicology was conducted, and maybe there are concoction of all sorts, which paracetamol and various other weaker ones would have worn out of a system, but there may be all order of toxic materials in his body that we can associate to the entire syringes, not just chosen specific syringes. So the police have been selective in what they want to present. I would have actually thought that if a foul play is suspected and a body was exhumed due to public outcry, that should have been a crime scene. There should have been touch lights and all the heavy duty, ultraviolet kind of devices that you're gonna blind all the curtains and all that kind of stuff, or come at night and then start combing the whole place to see where blood may have actually spilled, because the police are the ones that are saying that he bled profusely, and the profusion of the blood continued when they got to the house. Come on. Now, if we've actually, so if there's a flaw in that investigation, you see, the investigation doesn't need to be thorough. It needs to be procedural. And there will be the forensics going there and knowing that it's a possible homicide case. He died in the house. He started bleeding from the show. The driver said there's a bit of blood in the car, and the profusion of the bleed carried on in the house. And I think that if we've missed aspect of those information, and the only exhibit that the police can actually show us right now is selective number of syringes that the people in the house or the wife would have said is only just those 3. And the police is not saying, how about the rest? So is this guy a coke addict? Is he a drug addict? Has he been administering all sort of injection upon himself? Or has someone been helping him? Once you have all that missing information, is it not just now too late and we have to accept that he's just going to be spending on the nurse that will take the fall? I rest my mic. Thank you.
Thank you, IT guy. A lot of that made some sense. It really did. Yes, Insider, go ahead.
The lack in police transparency in their investigation is overwhelming, and we can all see it through that the proper investigation was never done in the first place. And that's why we were calling for the writ of mandamus to compel them to do even more, especially what can be done now. The failure in their investigation in the past cannot be remedied, especially when some certain materials or exhibits had been polluted or damaged or deliberately destroyed. And one of such evidence, like the CCTV in the house, the CCTV in the community, in the gates, the security, entrance of the estate, they have CCTV there, and all these have not been secured. Also, the CCTV at the Kuramed Hospital and all where Mohbad was taken to, up till now, I don't think anything had been done on it. It's only the doctor who came the other day to tell us that they have some CCTV footage to help buttress his point when Mohbad was brought to their facilities. And the remaining part of the investigation that we feel needs to be, and that could help, because as it is, as time continues to go, we begin to lose track of key evidence that could help unravel what happened to Mohbad in the past. Remember, this story had happened almost 2 years ago. And so the evidence are beginning to wear out. And we have seen right before our own eyes how the toxicology and the autopsy was thoroughly messed up, especially by the government when the Mohbad was exhumed. And then the histology, Mohbad's body parts was taken abroad. And we have seen lapses in chain of custody, whereby the MD of Lagos Forensic Center, who was in charge of taking the Mohbad histology for test abroad, did not submit this specimen directly from the Lagos State Forensic Department. Instead, it went through a third-party company that is owned by that same Sonaya, who is the MD of the Lagos State Forensic Department. He used his own company to submit that to the NMS. And then this shows serious lapses in chain of custody. Had Mohbad's specimen be compromised during this process, and the chain of custody has not been established, and the cross-examination by the son did not establish this, that what form of, in fact, the pathologist was supposed to come back and be re-examined at the coroner inquest, the government pathologist, and that was not done at the coroner. He was not challenged, and Baba Mohbad's toxicology was also presented. And what was supposed to be done was to challenge the presentation of the
Dropping my
government.
mind. Sorry, insider, please, sorry. Who's the monkey that's dropping me? What's going on here? This
Nobody's
is the second
dropping
time.
you.
Well, how come
Nobody
I'm
is.
getting dropped? Okay,
Yeah, not
all right, I'm here.
moving on
All right.
otherwise.
Sorry for the interruption, but this is the second time. All right.
So the pathologist, the government pathologist, remember, was never thoroughly questioned and was never presented at the coroner for cross-examination to see, okay, how was it done? Where in the NMS? It was only done halfway, whereby he was even asked to look at his own report and he couldn't look at his report. It was to come back later at another sitting of the coroner, and he never appeared again. And the lawyers to Baba Mohbad didn't complain to the coroner that he should be brought back so that they can cross-examine him, because that is where the fundamental error started from, whereby Mohbad's specimen was taken sometimes maybe 22nd after is it how many days after his demise, and was not presented until sometimes in April of the next year. And so this shows that the specimen will have been compromised thoroughly, especially the freshness of the specimen. The longer it stays, the more difficult you can find anything in it. So, and it appears this was deliberately done just to waste time and not get anything from the toxicology. And then there was something that was contained in the toxicology, histamine and all those chemicals that was found on Mohbad, and it was not properly examined at the coroner. So, and the coroner mandate is to evaluate properly forensic analysis, especially those of toxicology and autopsy. and that was not done. And then later on, we built on these errors, and then we asked Baba Mohbad to present his own report. And then the presentation was done in the most horrible way possible, so unprofessional, and to this day, nobody knew where the test was done. The chain of custody, nobody is aware of it. How the samples were taken and others.
Sorry for my interjection. I want to roll things back a bit. When you mentioned that when the presentation of the primary autopsy and toxicology was presented to the inquest, and cross-examination is required. How did that fail? Because I believe that during that period of time, as we know, members of the public are also sort of like allowed to ask questions, and I believe Comrade Moses did. So where were the Baba's lawyer, Joseph Aloba's lawyers at the time? So literally sort of like question what needs to be questioned. Cross-examination obviously will have someone from the government system presenting the primary result of the primary autopsy and toxicology. But who is going to sort of like be in a position, should the lawyers on the other side not have their own I don't know, experts that will come to court and ask valid questions when is needed? Pathologists may be there. The lawyers are there. The lawyers know, they know this will be presented. They know they need to sort of like question things. We know we can't juxtapose that with something we don't have, but at least we can question what we have. And a member of public did the best he could. Should we not have had a pathologist working with Joseph Aloba's lawyers to be in the right place and do the cross-examination at that time?
In fairness to the San questioned the the pathologist, the government pathologist. In fact, in one of the session of the questioning, he asked if there would have been other technological options to help analyze or do a better forensic analysis on the on Mohbad's histology, and he said yes, there were other technological advancement that could be done, and then he asked why was that not sought after, and then it didn't with the cross examination didn't finish. It was expected to continue in the next coroner inquest, and then the pathologist failed to appear. So it's not about
Now, I'm glad you said that. The pathologist conveniently did not appear. I mean, what is it about this process when the right thing that needs to be done is not done? It's an opportunity that may never come again. And then the pathologist wasn't there. You see, we keep blaming the police, but then we're not looking at this son or sons, if sons have actually changed hands, that they have responsibility. To Mohbad, this is justice we're talking about. This is not you killed my dog. It's not a case of you killed my cat. This is a human being whose life has been taken unjustly. And these are sons that are so careless, so myopic, so intentional not to do the right thing. The same thing with this DPP situation. You went in there challenging the DPP, the same people that are going to give you the verdict and are going to work with you and entertain you, you're going to fight them without any evidence whatsoever. Because on my platform yesterday, African Television mentioned, is this guy dumb or was he just planted there deliberately to destroy this justice? We can't keep blaming the police, keep blaming the system, Representatives that are there whose job is to find justice for Mohbad. What the hell are they doing? We need to start asking these questions because this thing is nearing an end, and then we cannot galvanize ourselves and mobilize ourselves and say we want to do anything. It's too late. But the flaws that are there, the fact needs to be said. There's no way we can blame this just on the system and the police, because the people who has the power, the incumbents, to really question the system thoroughly. They have failed in their duties to even prove and show anybody that in future, a case of this magnitude, you won't rely on a sign. Actually, you just need sort of like a practicing, even a jurist, a practicing juror, whatever the case may be. Just a man on the street. A man on the street will do a lot better than this so-called SANS, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, or whatever it is. Seniority with no brain, with dead brain. And this is my frustration when I look at this. And then we want the authorities to help us. They have failed us already. The police has failed us already. And the people, not even talk about money. I'm talking about you as a son, what you stand for, what the public expects from you, what the institution of the law society expects a son to do. I mean, why should anyone go to law school in Nigeria, see it through, and if what we get is a mockery to the law society in the name of sons? I rest my mic. Thank you, Insider.
Yeah, yes. Sorry, Thunderfire. Yeah, I have the time. I have the opportunity to just to speak now. Maybe when I have another opportunity. So now, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Insider. Good morning, Papa African TV, IT guy, fine girl, and 1, 2, 3. Thunderfire. Yeah. So now, my my take on this will be this. I mean, the angle I'm going to be looking at it. I want to be as objective as possible, and I want to be as nice as possible. So now, let's look at it this way. During my conversation with York Daddy made me to understand that Sanshitu was not employed, was not engaged for the criminal matter. Note this. For the criminal matter, which has to do with Mohbad. He wasn't engaged for that. So note that. You see, before, I like to be fair in my life, in everything I do. And I don't just like to throw stones without having to be sure that where I'm throwing it to is actually deserving of it. So now, they didn't engage the son for criminal matter, which is Mohbad's homicide, how to solve Mohbad's homicide. But they engaged the son. He engaged the son, the service of the son, for DNA. I just want you guys to be doing your mathematics. You need mathematics. Do mathematics as we're talking now. For DNA. Please, who is DNA beneficial to? Who is civil DNA beneficial to? And then they engage the service of ordinary counsel, who is not a son. You see, you need to set your priority right. You can see what is priority to people now. The case of Mohbad, you engage Odumusu, who is just an ordinary barrister, or whatever, Fadile or whatever. But the DNA that is so important to Baba Mohbad, he engaged a son. A son. You see? So what York Daddy told me from his explanation is that because they've now fired all of this or whatever. So now they just had to bring in Shitu now. When you are now bringing in Shitu, when you are dead already, you're bringing in a doctor after you're dead, so that the doctor can now come and you want the doctor to come and do what? To resuscitate you.
Medicine after death.
Medicine after
Medicine after
death.
death.
You see, Thunderfire, we need to be objective, and we need to look at things without fear or favor. We need to look at things dispassionate. Is it dispassionately they call it now? Whatever you want to call it. So now let me tell you something. You see this case. The people that botched this case, the people that destroyed this case are the family. Number one, the wife, Wumi. She had to run to Falana for whatever reason. And whatever reason she ran to Falana for, let me tell you something. People don't understand. A woman was talking on ITG yesterday, was saying that Falana, with his reputation, whatever, wouldn't want to cover up for women. You don't call it cover up, you call it defending your client. The worst criminals in this world, they've got lawyers, they've got best lawyers to defend them. And that is allowed. That is not against ethics. So put that aside. Put that aside to think that, oh, Falana, what are you talking about? Most of this, the best lawyers in the world, they are the lawyers, the criminals, ardent criminals, they engage the service. And is there anywhere stipulated in the law that they should not stand for anybody? Because everybody is presumed innocent until you are being pronounced by a competent court of law that you're guilty. So to think that Falana will not come to anybody's rescue, you need to wake up. Wake up from eternal slumber. So now, she went to Falana. Apparently, when you go to a lawyer, you need help. What kind of help do you need? Whatever solution that lawyer is giving you in form of help will show the kind of help that you have sought. So, the solution Falana could come up for his client was to look for a process how to derail the cause, something that will derail the cause, something that will sort of how will I put it now? Sort of derail the whole process and destroy the whole process. And that was why he called the state to set up coroner process, knowing what they're gonna do in that process. Now look at this. Preliminary investigation report is all that we have been hearing in this Mohbad case, and you're all wondering why the perpetrators have not been caught. Because the preliminary investigation is not meant to catch the perpetrator. It only forms the basis to establish whether a crime has even been committed or not. To get statements from responders, from the individuals in the house, for them to tell their story first. To cordon off the crime scene. All of those things, those are preliminary. But when you now want to catch the perpetrators of that crime, you have to now initiate what is called main investigation, full investigation. That is what is lacking. Somebody stop that process to happen because they do not want the perpetrators to be caught, because that is the only way, that is only where you catch perpetrators of any crime. Now, let me read it to you so that you understand the difference between preliminary. I'm not going to read it full because I read it on IT Guy yesterday. So I'm just going to tell you what main investigations will do. So now, this is what main investigation will do when you allow it to happen. Because it baffles my mind. It kind of like, it drives me crazy. That what happens to the main investigation? Why is it absent? Why is it that we can't find anything like that in this Mohbad's case? And it has to be, you must have exhausted, you must have explored and exhausted main investigation before you can now say that, oh, this case we can't crack it. This case we can't find the killers. This case we can't find the perpetrators. So what happens? You can now say you want to set up any inquest. But in the case of Mohbad, whose casket was open, and we've met the people at Ikorodu, found this guy inside that casket with legs broken, neck broken. Forget about even that the father said he saw blood, and the members of the family said he saw blood, and police said there is profusion of blood. What happens to the, where is our brain? Where is the police? Where did they keep their brain? They go to the government. Where is their brain? When you find out that when you find a dead body, whose neck was broken, whose neck was broken, legs were broken, sealed up in a casket, that they didn't even want to open the casket when the people said, open up this casket. This cannot be Mohbad's casket. It's not possible that it will be Mohbad that is lying in this horrible, God-forsaken casket that should not be used to even bury rats. I can't use that to even bury mosquitoes. You know, we hate mosquitoes so much in Africa. I can't use it to bury. And you now use that to bury an icon, an international superstar. And the people questioned that and said, no, it can't be Mohbad that will be in this casket. That was why they opened that casket. Nobody would have known that the neck was broken. You are not questioning who broke the neck. When I find a dead body, you can't tell me that when people are dead, their necks are broken. Their necks will be bent in that broken fashion. No, that's a blatant lie. They will
You
be
know,
the
Jack,
way.
I was told that photo was taken of him with the bent neck before he was even buried.
You can imagine. That means that was a state. That was the state the killers left him. That was the state. You see, that has spoken volume already. That shows the impact of what was done to this guy. Was the injection that bent his neck? Because I don't know where people keep their brain these days. When they're saying that it was the action of the nurse, it was the
Jack,
action of the nurse that broke his legs.
Jack and everybody, good morning again. When I listen to Jack, I want to cry because you're so passionate with the truth. And it hurts that the truth is a painful fact that all these things happen to Mohbad. But I get disappointed in us. And when I say us, I'm including myself. You see, most of what we do on TikTok, most of what we do, most of these submissions are completely irrelevant. They are irrelevant when we don't put any law to the test. At best, we have a DPP situation where the supposed son has failed woefully. Good morning. The son, so-called son, has failed woefully. Something that, hey, and guys, more alone for John along. The son has failed completely, where a new graduate should not have failed. Do we have evidence of what happened to Mohbad, all the mishap? Yes, we do. Were they used? No, they were not used. Now, somebody in the comment section, I think it's the Swift, or whatever the name, can see clearly, saying the son has really done his best. Let's put the best to test. Best at what? Failing? Best at doing nothing? I don't understand why we can't call a spade a spade. Is this son a mole? Was this man? Because you cannot bear the title son and you're being chastised in the courtroom like a baby. You're being chastised like you never went to law school. Have we not been crying evidence on this movement for 2 years almost? And you representing the people, the family, or whoever the heck Sanshitu is representing, does he not know that to win a case, you need to come up with facts? Do you just run because they say go and you start running? Because you want to justify the money that you were in court? Let's be honest, if we truly need justice. For those who are working with the SAN, it is time to take stock, to sit down, evaluate your failures. I'm personally of the opinion that this SAN is not a SAN, or he is not prepared to fight for Mohbad. If I would employ a lawyer, not a SAN, or even a paralegal at that, if I would employ a paralegal to work for me, I'm sitting down with you day and night, looking at what you're taking to court for me, and I'm double checking the facts that you're taking to use in my case. I'm even bringing other case laws that you may have to prove to me that they apply or they don't apply. But you've got a SAN who's broken the heart of J4M and
African
the
TV.
so-called people. Yes.
African TV, sorry that I interjected. We can make it a dialogue. Now,
Yeah.
African TV, don't forget, remember, your daddy has stated clearly that Baba Mohbad did not engage Sanshitu for criminal matter, for Mohbad case, but DNA. So now you see where the real work. Why I would have blamed Sanshitu if he was the one engaged for Mohbad's criminal matter, because where they
You
failed.
still blame him. No. Stop there, Jack. Jack.
No,
if
I'm
you
telling you
employ
what
me,
your
no,
daddy said.
hold on, Jack. If you employ me as your real estate lawyer, and unfortunately something criminal happens in your house, you have a duty to know my competence in the area of criminal law. And if I don't have the expertise, then it is my duty to contact my colleague from my law firm or another law firm to say, okay,
African TV,
listen,
African TV,
if what you're
TV.
saying is what it is, Shitu passed his boundaries.
African TV,
If he was employed for DNA, listen,
TV.
brother, calm down. No, if he was
myself.
employed for DNA, then he has no business getting involved in criminal prosecution.
African TV, because I understand that. No, they just brought him. It's because you're not listening to me. The York Daddy said they just brought him in now to now come in for criminal, to handle the criminal. Before, he had no business in the criminal matter of Mohbad, but it was strictly the DNA. So now whoever that was in charge of the criminal matter was the person that grossly failed to get unless what was given to him is not to pursue Mohbad's case, because it was while police were doing investigation, they were supposed to be working with the police. That is their job. They have nothing to do in criminal matter. All they do in criminal is just to watch brief. That's all. So I don't know what they engage them for. The only job, that was what I was asking Ishak. That can you tell me the only job that all of these lawyers that your Baba Mohbad has gathered or garnered, their job, and this guy shy away from answering. And the only job they have is to watch the police closely when the police, like for instance, when the case file,
Jack, you're making them look more stupid.
Let me make this point.
You're making them
When
look
the
more
case file,
stupid.
wait. When the case file was taken from the police, while they have only done preliminary investigation, where was the lawyer? Where was the lawyer to say that, look, who is taking the case away from the police when the main investigation has not been done? Is it you that should have done that? Is it me? Are you paid to do that? Who should have done that? And let me tell you, whatever engagement, look, whatever anybody is saying here, you have to be very, you have to be aware of the fact that whatever brief a client gives to your counsel, to the lawyer, is what the lawyer will do. The lawyer will never go outside the scope of the brief you've given the person. So you can't give me a case of a land case, and then you have a criminal matter, you gave it to another person, and then I'm coming there to come and I have no business with it. If you have given me civil case to handle, I stick to it. So you
That
see,
hold on, Jack. I must
gross
come in here.
failure.
This is where I'm coming in.
Baba Mohbad and his
You
lawyers.
sound
I
like
put all of
Jack.
them together.
You sound like the lawyer
Failed.
Shitu, the lawyer Shitu, because I didn't want to put the sign behind his name anymore. Now you sound like this man was employed for a civil case and he found himself handling a criminal aspect of the case. In any case, as an old man that I see him to be, an experienced lawyer, he should have said, no, I'm not going into this. Get a criminal lawyer to handle it. That's what you sound like. Like he's a civil lawyer who's ended up doing a criminal case and now atilule. And instead of finding solution, we're still trying to give reasons for why we lule. And eventually this case is just going to go on with talk, and nothing happens.
African
People
TV.
like you need to get together and find a lawyer that can really do the job and get this thing done for Mohbad.
African
You know,
TV.
Insider came up with a solution the other day. We're looking for the way forward to get Mohbad real justice, and we've all derailed, and now we're back to the same analysis and talking
African
like
TV.
we do.
African TV. If you listen to me,
No, African. Sorry, Jack. African TV. Point of
I've always
correction.
said, I've always said, sorry, since last time.
Sorry, Jack. Very quickly,
Right.
very quickly. What I understand about our engagement with Insider is that if we put a force together at this point, galvanize support, do all manners of togetherness, and put a structure in place, it will be after the inquest. Because I don't think there's anything more we can do at this point. But if we put that reinforcement together and put a structure in place, then we'll be in a better position to, address the failings and then to support proceedings from a public perspectives. So I don't think we can mix it up to sort of like say we're carrying on with what we've been doing before. What else can we do? Because I think that all our engagement and our banters have actually kept this thing alive, especially on this Black app. But if Insider probably shed a bit of light on that, African TV, you probably realize that there was a general consensus that whatever we do now is we are preempting the action that the public can actually put in place to address issues with the system. Thank you.
You know what? No, Jack, no verse, sorry. You use the right word. We have to preempt, not preempting. We have to preempt what could be or what might come next. The inquest is going to come, and I know that 90% of you listening to me and speaking, you know nothing good is going to come out of that. That is under probability on the high scale that we already know how things are working. Now, if we know how things have been going, we are supposed and expected to preempt the next move, failure from inquest. If that should happen, we now have to go back again and start putting out fire like we're doing now on the sand. We don't need to be in a position of putting out fire all the time. Let's do something, take the initiative to be proactive and ahead of the game. That's my position. And that's why I liked the idea of these guys, the Insider and Ebony, when we came up with the way forward. You know, the way forward, some people don't want to be part of it. That's good. That's natural. Not everybody's going to dance to your music at the same time. But we're back now to nothing. The VDM factor has come in, distracted. Now, we that have been spending the midnight candle trying to get Mohbad justice, instead of now learning from the mistakes of the past, we are falling into the same pit of analyzing and making excuses and blaming and defending to the extent now we're being told we're going to get banned if we speak at any other platform. You see, we're getting crazy, carried away. That's my problem. Let's get back to focus and be preemptive of any bullshit that they can bring. Thank you.
Okay, Thunderfire, IT guy, African team. Look, let me tell you something. Ever since I came talking about this case, I've always been saying it, echoing it. That was why it sort of like looks at some point to some people that they could literally preempt what I would say. Because I had to ring the same thing over and over and over. I had to echo it and re-echo it. I've always been saying that the only thing that pains me most about this case is because it's the fact that there has been no form of investigation done. And when I said I mean investigation itself. I don't mean preliminary. Investigation. You see, the only way forward is investigation. Without the main investigation, because it's only the main investigation that can now, that is when you now start to analyze individuals' responses, their statements. That is when you start to see disparities. That is when you start to think deeply, more in depth into the whole process. That is when you start to now inspect CCTVs and all of those things, all of those gadgets, individuals' gadgets. That is when forensics come to play. So when you start to do that, that means you have the intent to bring the perpetrator to book. You have the intent to sort of like identify the perpetrators, and then what's it called? Arrest and trial will follow. But when you do not have main investigation in place, that means you have no intention to bring anybody to book. So
No, what was done is
investigation is still
they
the only
took
way.
what they did was they took all the statements from everyone and just turned it over to the DPP without investigating.
That was what it did.
Okay. Okay, fine, girl. Would you like to speak? We have some other people on the platform, so we got to give them a chance. Fine, girl. Are you going to speak? Okay, Leo. I'm going to drop y'all if you're not going to say anything.
Hello, good morning.
Who's speaking?
Lion.
Leo?
Yes.
Oh, good morning.
I'm just listening to everything everybody's saying.
Okay. Papa, how you doing?
I'm fine. I'm fine. I greet you. Good morning, good afternoon. I greet you according to your time zone. Me, I don't have much to say. You know the story. So I support you guys' opinion this morning. But my own stand, I said we should a little bit give um, this team, this Baba Mohbad team, a little bit slack because why? We have seen what happened but for few months ago with Odumosu. So all those faults we are witnessing, all those mistakes we are putting out now. I tell you guys, it's my opinion. The fault comes from Odumosu. Paparano was saying it right from the beginning. So by now we're supposed to understand that this fault comes from Mosu. So please, now Shanshitu said they just give us the full guarantee. Shanshitu just came into the criminal case now. Can we just give them a little bit slack? Maybe before any moment from now we will get some good results. So this is what I would like to choke in. Thank you.
Papa, whether he just came into the case or not, he should have been updated before he even entered the DPP office, and he should have had some evidence to bring with him. I believe every lawyer would know that. So me giving him slack is not happening. He also is a SAN. He should know better than to walk into a courtroom without any evidence. You know what I'm saying? And it
Yeah.
was months ago or a month. I don't know how long that Otomoso left. He had plenty of time to get his case files and get his shit together. He didn't have his shit together. Why are you making an appointment
Can I
or
ask a
sue the
Papa a question?
DPP without preparation?
Can I ask a Papa a question, please? Sorry, Thunderfire, please.
Sure, sure.
Papa, So this is the situation you're painting. You have a criminal case that could send you to jail, and you have a lawyer that has just been told, "Oh, this guy is going to trial now," and the lawyer doesn't know anything about your case file, and they now say, "Okay, trial is at 12 o'clock. You go and represent him." Would you accept that lawyer? Papa, are you there?
Sir, sorry, sir. You say, come again.
Let me give you the example again. God forbid you have a criminal case that you're looking at a potential jail term like PDD case. Maybe they're going to throw your enemy in jail for life or for 50 years. And now I show up as a lawyer and your trial starts at 12 o'clock and this is 8 o'clock in the morning, and they now say I should represent you. Would you let me handle the case? Would you give me a chance? Would you cut me a slack? Papa.
Yes, I will do. Yes, I will do. I will give you a chance. Yeah.
Okay, you'll give me a chance that you'll go
Yeah,
to jail
and you
for
would
life.
serve 50 years in prison with someone who doesn't have any of your files.
You see, that answer tells me a lot about
Sorry, because I was distracted from here
Hey,
because
do you see, that's the problem. You
Can we
don't
come
pay
again? Wait,
attention.
sorry, sir. No, come again, Baba. Come again. No verse.
I
No
know
verse.
they come again. I don't
No,
talk out two times.
but you were hearing the sound of my
People
baby
don't
on the
record it.
ground.
They
You were
have
hearing the sound
recorded your
of my baby
answer.
on the ground.
They have recorded your answer. You want to go to jail for 50 years.
Okay.
In addition,
No,
to
see,
what has happened,
but
Akpapa, wait. Make I just quickly put this in. Do you know that Sanshitu made an application to the court against the DPP, and the lawyers from the DPP and the Attorney General were in court and told the court that they don't know why they were summoned to come and appear before the justice. And the justice sent them the case file that they should study it within 2 hours and make their presentation. And within 2 hours, those lawyers made their submission before the court. And you can see the outcome of their submission. Just 2 hours is enough to get a no verdict from a judgment that favors them, even though they are Sanshitu knows that the result will be null and void. He knows that onset, and his first speech after the judgment was that the Attorney General has the power. So why are you challenging the Attorney General's power to decide on the matter? You know, it was always dead on arrival, and he knows the outcome already before he even went to the court. And this is what I call legal somersault or legal voyage. And Sam Shitu, most people, even York Daddy, is making an erroneous insinuation that they are part of a criminal case in Mohbad's case. They are not, they are only interested party, or they are not part of the case. They are not party to the case. They are only interested party. It is the court or the Attorney General, through a fiat, we now grant them to be party to the case, and then they can now cross-examine, they can bring in their lawyer for the criminal case. As it is now, they are not part of the criminal case. So it is always the state versus the defendant in all criminal cases. He's only a family lawyer. Baba Mohbad's son is just a family lawyer to advise them legally on what to do and what not to do, like what they've just done. And is within their rights to do so. So they are not part of the criminal case. In fact, it is only the government versus the defendant who is standing prosecution, not the family of the. In fact, the interested party needs to get authorization to be part of the case, and which we've not even gotten to the stage now. And my gross against Sanshitu is that the moment you now charged the DPP and the Attorney General to court because of lack of jurisdiction in the case that you want some other parties to be included again in that same case, contradicting yourself on forefront, You can no longer apply for a fiat and stand the chance of getting it. You are fighting the person. Let's assume that after the corona investigation, they give ahead to go to a higher court for the trial to begin. And then the nurse and all the rest were now charged to a higher court, including Wumi and all the people in the house, as stated by the legal advice from the coroner inquest and the police report to the DPP. If that is done, Baba Mohbad, we want as an interested party, they are called interested party to this case. We need to now apply for a fiat to the office of the Attorney General. And the Attorney General has the discretionary power to grant it or to refuse it. And now that you've charged them to court, the DPP and the Attorney General, in normal moral right, can you still now get favor from them? You're not going to get the fiat. And so Baba Mohbad's lawyer may not be part of the case because he had jeopardized his relationship with the DPP, allegedly. Unless something else happens, maybe public pressure or whatsoever, that could help him get that fiat to be part of the case. You see, what these Baba Mohbad people are not seeing, it's not that we are against them. No, nobody is against them. But we want them to do the right thing. And they kept doing the wrong thing. That is the problem we have with them. And they kept doing on the wrong thing, and they hide behind a smoke screen, calling themselves critical thinkers, whereby they are not even pushing the case further to help us get solution for what we desire. This is where the problem is with them. They are not making any legal breakthrough. They are not making any proper legal representation, no legal strategy to get justice for Mohbad. And this is where the problem is. And so we kept telling them, it's not that we are fighting them. We are also against the DPP and the police. But the right of the DPP will let you know. This is what we've been shouting before the judgment came yesterday. That they cannot get anything from the DPP. Because the DPP is like the one providing food for the court in criminal cases. In most criminal cases, it is the DPP that will provide the case for the court to sit on. If the DPP do not provide the case for the court to sit on, the court will not sit on any case. So you are now asking the court to challenge the DPP. Will the court now challenge the people who are providing food for them? They will not now. No matter how far you go, you will still come back. The court will tell you, these are our boss, and they are the one providing the case that we sit on. And you are challenging their right, which is provided also by the Constitution to do so. And you are now challenging it. You cannot challenge the Constitution and get the right for it, especially when it is procedural and contains a process that is achievable by the court to get whatever they want to do to get it done. The court will not, is like undermining their own case themselves. The court will not do it indirectly. The court will never do it. This is what we've been telling the Sanshito, and they went ahead to charge this case ahead and then jeopardize the benefit they can derive from the DPP and the Attorney General, which is getting a fiat for the case should, peradventure, this case gets to the High Court. And we are working to make sure the case gets to the High Court, which is a strategy which the Sun has blatantly ignored. In fact, the case is treated against the Coroner Court is not to get this case to a higher court. It's just to bring in more individuals into the case, and which is in a lower court. And then you did not even directly challenge the jurisdiction of that same DPP to charge this case to court, because there are also more compelling evidence that you refuse to present to the court that will make the DPP sit up and say, okay, let's charge this case to the higher court for the justice to examine. You did not even present any evidence. This is the problem. So, and they are still wallowing, we will win this case, we are going to win this case, they sit on panels, we are winning this case by God's grace. It's not by God's grace. It's by design. You work it out with strong legal strategy. I've not seen any legal strategy from the Sun so far. It is an facade behavior, and I call it legal voyage. And those people still supporting him on this trajectory, they are all voyagers trying to waste people's time, legal waste of time. And this is the problem. Thank you.
A lot is from me. A lot has been said this morning, and I think that if we need to look at things critically, because the critical thinkers, I've since forgiven them, so I always address them by whatever statement or label they decide to bestow on themselves. Now, when Jack engaged with Honorable Yog Daddy, there was that little demarcation and understanding that San Shitu is not originally is only there to sort of like process matters to do with the DNA, and he will not be involved in any other matters. So he is a San. I believe he will have his own chamber or practice and what have you. And then we go back to the basics and we say legal advisory. So, I mean, the critical thinkers now telling me without any experience from a legal perspective, are they now the legal advisory to Mr. Joseph Aloba? Because he appears as though they are here to engage with the public and enlighten us about what is going on in the underground. As far as their involvement is concerned, obviously, a group that started as 7 members, now drawn down to 4 due to various disharmony in the camp and all that understanding. When we engaged with Bio Billions not so long ago, maybe a couple of weeks ago. So the public now are at a peril of legal advisory in which Joseph Aloba obtains, which doesn't actually appear to be one from a son. So if it's not from a son, is this system not polluted by engagement with babies? People who don't actually understand the legal system, who don't understand what fiat is, or writ of mandamus, and the impact of challenging the DPP. And it just means that we are at a peril of people who don't understand the law. And Mr. Joseph Aloba appears to have confidence in them. And, you know, Apapa said cutting slacks. We can't call in a criminal case of this magnitude, homicide, we can't cut any son or any lawyer a slack for starters. But maybe he's referring that we need to cut the critical thinkers a slack. Now, he actually means that we're looking at justice for Mohbad, then we got up to a point and we're thinking, where is Amala? Where's the nearest Amala joint? Let's go and eat some Amala and drink some Guinness and get some Gulda and put our thoughts together. It's becoming a charade, a playground for kids, for children. Because if you don't have what it takes, you don't even understand the legal process, and you are the one advising Joseph Aloba, who appears to be the primary complainant in a probable homicide case. Oh my God. What the hell have we been talking about in the last 22 months? And if the next 2 months is going to bring a closure to the inquest, we're going to get a verdict. And it will be simply that Naira Marley, Sam Larry, and Prime Boy are no longer interested parties. And it will just be spending and the nurse. The handwriting is written boldly on the wall. So if there's anything we can salvage right now, and we can't get through to Joseph Aloba and his son, They are impregnable because they've actually surrounded themselves with a fortress by the name critical thinkers who are just children, none of which probably has a university degree in any vocation, never mind the legal society. And I think those are the areas we need to address. We have the likes of Vengeance, Ishak, and Comfy. These rogues, how much are they paid to engage with us? And why are we engaging with Ishak, Vengeance, and Comfy? I mean, if you look at the process, you look at the process of engagement, these are individuals who are picking up crumbs under the table. I don't know how much they paid a day. 100,000 naira or whatever the case may be, for them to disrupt the process and actually look at where people are engaging, look at the weakness in that process, infiltrate their mindlessness in that process to disrupt the conversation. And this is what we have. We got the critical thinkers on one side, and there's a critical madness around the same process where these people are enlightening us in such a fashion that they are advocating on behalf of Joseph Aloba. And obviously, on this side of the pond, where we have the so-called scientists, the logical thinkers, well, all we do is just fight ourselves every day anyway. And it's a good thing a platform like this is balanced enough from various other platforms. I don't even want to sing my praises because I'm liking to supporting Wumi. But is it about supporting Baba, supporting Wumi, or really seeking justice for Mohbad, where we are now in the hands of miscreants and maggots by the name critical thinkers? I rest my mic.
We have a lot of maggots in this Justice for Mohbad. We have Gullites too. You and African TV really come up with these words, and I can't help but laugh at it. Comrade Mosey has been telling me for about 2 weeks now that we have won, except I haven't seen any win. But he said there's things to come. And the only other thing I can think about is with Aries and the Interpol is maybe what he's talking about. But I wouldn't say we won anything because nothing's happened at this point in time. But I'll give you good luck to that anyway. We have won in Jesus' name. Okay. I wouldn't go around saying we won when we're all over here begging for justice for Mohbad until we can actually see some action. Actions speak louder than words. So, Fine Girl, are you there yet? Have you been screen recording this entire time and you can't have your voice in it?
I mean, I
It's
think
all right. Go ahead and screen
another
record.
point, which is a very gentle one, is to Comrade Moses, who is a starer, just like Boss Rat, let's say Bossman. They are just starers. They always tell you they've got something in the pond. I mean, if someone as intelligent, if I think Comrade Moses has a degree of intelligence in him, is in the comment section, ranting like a rat. You invite him to come up, and he never does. And this guy kind of presents himself as someone who belongs to an underground system that is not known to man or anybody seeking justice for Mohbad. And it's literally just like a little bit of heartworm that will be fortunate to be shipped from one garden to another, and then when it's there, it's like, it's beautiful out here. We're gonna win something. It is not a game, Comrade Moses. We're winning nothing. Jesus and God has absolutely nothing to do with it. Going to mosque and church and praying from now till tomorrow will give you zilch. Because in Nigeria, we always actually pray and crave since 1960, since our independence. It go better, it go better, it go better, it go better, it go better. It will be better one day. Not without the force of the people, not without addressing all the malpractices in the system, all the madness they inject into the process to turn the whole lot of us into Goliaths. And Goliaths like Comrade Moses, sorry about the insult, can actually come out with boss man. Everywhere you see Comrade Moses come on a platform, boss man is there very quickly. Don't tell them, don't tell them, don't tell them, tell them a little bit. We have a lot to say. We're not saying it now. I mean, come on. Who are these people? How do they sleep at night? How do they understand that this is not a game and that the life of a young man is cut short unjudiciously? His life was actually cut short. Bam, they just switch off the lights. And up till today, we don't know why. Not the father, not the wife, not the 15 people in the house. Nobody that gave their statement to the police is giving us a lead 22 months later. Comrade Moses is coming in Jesus' name. Oh, Jesus Christ. Who are you? Why are you such a rat in the sewer? You are a rat that is growing in a sewer, in a sewage in other language, growing fat every day, eating shit. You've got nothing to provide. By the time you hit the street, everybody is chasing you. They want to knock you down. They want to take you out. Then you run back into the sewage again. Because that is where people like you belong. If there is a process and you don't have anything to offer on this black app, it's simple. Log off. Stop joining platform. Sit on the window. Because come on, you are a dimwit. You are a dimwit. The light is never switched on 24 hours with you, Comrade Moses. I've been watching you. You've got nothing to offer anybody, you and Bossman. Zero to offer anybody. No wonder Bossman opens his platform. He can't find even 2 people engaging with him. I rest my mic.
Thank you. If anybody else have anything to say, you're welcome. Jump right in.
Before somebody jumps in, if nobody wants to jump in, my people, we need to focus on solutions. We have come too far, spent too much time, emotions. Some of us, our names have taken a hit.
It doesn't matter if my name has been taking a hit. I'm only on the TikTok. I'm only on the TikTok, and I only have a voice. There's not actually any movement that I can do to help the process. You know, my hands are tied. I'm just another person on TikTok trying to speak for Mohbad. So my name doesn't really matter.
I won't do this. These people came to rescue me. They came to help me when I needed help. I will not do this to them. I will tell them how we spend this money. As a matter of fact, you will never put your pen to paper to any funding, any expenses, any expenditure that you know that is cynical, that you know that you will not be able to account for. You will not use the public money and spend it recklessly, spend it lavishly to enrich yourself. Is that also the act? Is that the lawyer? Is it the son that are not doing their job in that aspect too? Are they the ones that are saying, "Oh, take the money and spend it"? When it came
Can I
out,
ask you? Can I ask you a question?
please go ahead and ask me.
From what I understand, you were talking with York Daddy yesterday. Did you say all this to him, and what did he have to say?
Oh, Daddy York.
Yeah.
Daddy York. Oh, that was day before yesterday. Do you know what? That was day before yesterday. Let me tell you something. Thunderfire. You see, those people, they think they're smart, and they think they think to them they're very intelligent. To be honest, But the moment you hear them speak, they are actually intelligent when they don't open their mouth. When they don't speak, when they keep their mouth mute, they're very intelligent. But the moment they start to speak, then you see the level of foolishness, the level of stupidity that is going to fall from the mouth. Nothing like wisdom will fall from the mouth. Nothing like intellect will fall from the mouth. So all of the things I put to him, he failed. As a matter of fact, he exposed himself and exposed Mohbad's father, because he even said to me, when I asked him a question, he said to me that, do I know the agreement that was signed by Mohbad's dad and the lawyer Shitu? And in other words, he was saying that Mohbad's father engaged the lawyer, employed the lawyer for himself. Later, he was trying to do damage control, but you have said what it is. Because is it not clear? Do we need to know what? We were not there when Mohbad's father signed whatever it is that he signed with the lawyer. But through the lawyer's actions and his own actions, we now know what has been signed. That what was signed was never for Mohbad, but for himself. It is only if you're look, some people are very slow at understanding, and I won't blame them. I won't blame them, because that is how people are. We are wired individual. We wired differently. But if you are slow at understanding, you need to allow people who can see things a million miles away from where you are. Let them explain things to you. Let them educate you. That is called enlightenment. So immediately I put it to him. I said, "Oh, so are you now saying Mohbad's father actually got the lawyer, the son, for himself, as against to getting it for Mohbad?" Okay. Now, is it not clear that he got the lawyer? He got in the case of DNA, because that is what is paramount to him. Because he knows that if he's able to dig into the paternity of that boy, and that boy happens not to be Mohbad's father, he's thinking in his head that Mohbad's property would automatically devolve to him. So can we now see that these people, neither Wunmi, neither Baba Mohbad, nor Mama Mohbad, and the rest of the family was ever or is ever looking for justice for Mohbad, but they are all looking for justice for themselves. All that I've seen most of them do, especially the wife, is to want to remove themselves. Any form of involvement, they remove. Now, let me tell you something, Thunderfire. Can you hear me, Thunderfire? I want to tell you a story. I want to tell you a crime.
Yeah,
A
I
crime
can
that
hear you.
a crime that took place in the US. It took place in the US. I watched it, I think 3 or 4 days ago. You know what happened? There's this family, this family, mother and father. So they gave birth to these children. So now something happened while they were still young. The children, one of them just went missing in the US, and the police, they were looking for this. They got on the case and they were looking for the boy. They couldn't find the boy, so the case went cold. So the case went like that. And then some years after, there was a boy in Italy. There was a guy in Italy who was involved in drug and stuff like that. So he got arrested, and then after he got arrested, they've now found out that the tattoo that boy was carrying, the boy that was missing in the US, the same tattoo that was carrying, this other guy too was carrying it, and this other guy looks almost exactly like the boy when the boy was young. So the family now sent someone, I think sent a sister, one of the family, to Italy to go and confirm if the boy is indeed, if the guy is indeed the child that they lost in.
Hold on. What age was the child when he became missing?
Miss, I can't remember now. I can't really remember, to be honest.
Because I'm wondering how a small child would have a tattoo.
No, not small, young. It was like a teenager or something like that. Not like small. No. It was like a teenager. It was a teenager. It was like I can't remember. If like maybe like 16, 15, 17, 18. I can't remember. So the thing is, because the basic what I want to point out, if you search, I can't remember the name of the guy now. So now what happened is this: they now said, "Oh, is the person we've been looking for." So the US now They now sort of like brought the guy back to US, and they without taking his fingerprints, they gave him they just gave him all that he needed, the passport and everything, they just did everything, and they brought him in. So now this is where I'm going. At the end of the day, when this guy arrived, when this guy got into the family and he was telling them the story and all that, and the family noticed that his eyes, the eyeballs, the eyes, they're not the same as the boy. It's different. So they asked the guy about it, and this guy said, "Oh, because of the drugs and some chemicals that they pour into them when they were torturing him and all that, that's the reason why his eyes changed." So now, so there is this private investigator who was just interested in the case. Nobody sent him. He was just doing his own thing, and he was trying to find out that can somebody's eyes change due to some chemical, that we used to touch or whatever. He was writing to professors and the rest of them, and they confirmed that no, that's not possible. It won't happen. So he asked again so many questions, and at the end of the day, the boy was now living with the sister. So he went there to the house and said, "I would like to interrogate." So the sister said, "No. That's not going to happen because they don't want the guy to relieve the trauma anymore." And you know what happened? This guy said, "No, let him in. Let him, let him in. Let him interview me." And during the course of the interview, that was when this guy discovered that the investigator discovered that it is a lie that guy, the stories they were not adding up. So he now went to the police and said, "Look, you need to revisit this case. You need to look into this guy. This guy is not the guy that went missing." And that was how the police now brought this guy in. And what happened was there was now they were doing something in, I can't remember. There was a dead body that was being exhumed. I think they were doing some whatever construction out there. And this dead body happened to be like long ago. And then they found out that the knicker, the whatever, something belonged to the boy. So they now did DNA on the body, the bones and all that. They now discovered that it was the boy that was missing then. That's the cops. So this guy had no choice than to start confessing. He now changed his story that he now said a lot of things. At the end of the day, they now discovered that boy was not the boy. What happened? Do you know what happened? The mother of the boy that went missing actually knew that the boy was dead that time, because the elder brother of that boy came home to tell the mom that this is what happened. I killed my brother. And the mother covered it up because she didn't want to lose the elder brother. So he covered it up and she decided not to say anything about it. So you can imagine. And at the end of the day, what happened? They gave the mother life. She was given life. So things happen. For you to think that things, because you don't have the knowledge, or you don't have that exposure, to now think that things don't happen. Things happen. It's just that you have not experienced it. So that's me. For me, my submission is the family. They are the ones responsible for this huge cover up. Otherwise, Wumi was in that house. Adura was in that house. Forget about other people that were in the house. And none of these people have been able. And the fact that Wumi even went to Falana to derail the whole thing, so that to stop the police from carrying out the main investigation, that alone is just all for me. And then to add sort to injury, the family they just went on money making voyage on the case, and they were just pursuing their own interest. So nobody is fighting for justice for Mohbad in that family. The two families, nobody. And for anybody to think that Baba Mohbad does not know what they're doing, you need to wake up. He knows what he's doing. And because he knows what he's doing, that is why you found those people, the likes of Comfy, the likes of Daddy York, the likes of Ishak, the likes of Mbuki Jesse. You find them around him. Show me your friend and I will tell you who you are. There is no way you will find anybody around me. There's no way. There's no way you find anybody who is corny around me, because I'm not corny. There's no way you're gonna find me with anyone who will lie in broad daylight. even when he's being caught red-handed, because I'm not that kind of person. There's no way you're going to find criminals, people who can kill without even having to think about it around me, because I'm not a killer. I don't behave that way. So the moment you are a greedy person, you're going to find greedy people around you. That's why they said, likes mine. They just attract each other. You don't even, without effort, it will happen. So Thunderfire.
Yes. And listen, I've been saying this one story from the very beginning. It hasn't been proven, but it's just my own theory. Because it actually matches up. I personally believe that it was Adura accidentally, possibly breaking up a fight with Wumi and Mohbad, and possibly he got thrown down the stairs, banged his head. It caused him, injury. That's where the profuse bleeding comes
I
in.
thought that I'm laughing. You know why I'm laughing? It's a theory that I've introduced and injected into this process. And I think after a
Really?
while, I mean, if you look at some of my submissions in the past, I've always thought that exactly what you said to be the case. Because Wunmi said that they should go and something happened. And if she was responsible, I don't think so. She also made a statement. If there's something that you don't know this man too well, but there's something about this whole situation that if you find out about him, you will stone him to death. Remember?
Yes.
Remember that?
Yeah, it just makes sense to me because everyone will protect him because he was. Wumi will protect him because he was defending her, and Mr. Aloba will protect him because it's his son. The mother will protect him because it's her son. So everyone will protect him.
Yeah, I think this is what we have. Wumi will look at it and say it will be incumbent on the father of the deceased to decide to tell the truth. If he's not willing to do so, she will carry on with her life, for starters. And then at the end of the day, the inquest gives us a verdict. And once we get a verdict, the DNA situation becomes a family wrangle. And then whoever belongs to Caesar goes his way. And that will be the family fighting themselves, and the public will not really have any interest in that or any input because there will not be any benefit in it. And I think that we engineering a bit of madness when we don't even know what happened, but we make up our minds, and then people on the corridors, the nooks and corners of explicitly vent out that is a wife that killed Mohbad. And which is okay if you can bring your evidence, if there's anything pointing in that direction. If the number of people in the house and 26 people that have given their statement to the police have said what they need to say, if you are a member of the public or VDM and believe there is a reason for 26 people to change their statement, bring your evidence out. Don't fool the public by saying you have more. There is no way VDM can have anything, anywhere, other than chit chats, 9 seconds video here, 2 seconds video here, which we are privy to. Which is the reason why even Joseph Aloba and the son, even if Sam Falano is there, which he will not even touch this case, because this case is just a mess. Not a single shred of evidence will come from the internet. No audio, no video that makes any sense, because they're always 5 seconds, 3 seconds, 9 seconds. Yomi Fabi even learned from that. And he's announced his exit. And if he hasn't announced his exit, even him working in conjunction with VDM today and Aries, they will still come back with nothing. Zero at the end of the day.
Yes, and the other thing is, it's too easy for everyone to blame the wife. It's too easy. When someone pies, it's never easy. When everyone's blaming the wife, it's too easy.
I mean,
So
talk
that's
about my
why
country.
that's why they're going with that narrative. No one's thinking about Adura at all. Well,
Talk about a country I hail for. Women don't have any voice. Across the entire nation, whether it's Igbo, Yoruba, or Hausa, women should be seen to bear children and not be heard. And that is it. They will be suppressed. But we don't like talking about it because we see it as a taboo. Oh, then people will come and tell you times has actually moved on. Things have changed. Things hasn't even changed anyway. Anyway. And then if intelligent people can look at a case as technical as this, on a journey for 22 months, and the only thing you can say with all your intellectuals and all your intelligence is, I believe, is the wife that pied the husband. If the wife pies the husband and you believe so, and there's no shred of evidence to actually corroborate that, on one note, Adura is there, Darosha is there. Adura is Mohbad's brother, blood brother. Darosha is Mohbad's uncle, if he's Mama Mohbad's younger brother, or whatever the case may be, right? So now, you now want to say, of all the people that are in the house, we are now going to now chase after, we've now selected Zlatan now. And Zlatan is not the only friend to Mohbad. And then on my platform yesterday, when Konibaje actually put it in there, the association between Mohbad and the said Zlatan is record label related, which means they're probably not even that close. So what are we going to do? Every Mohbad friends that we know, including the one that is gone to America to go and study, and UK to go and study, okay, bring him back, get all Mohbad's friends, gather them, and then get them to come and supply you with audio or video, and then you are going to pay 10 million or whatever million you want to pay them, so that 10 million you're paying them to give you evidence will now protect them for the rest of their lives from the likes of Naira Marley and Sam Larry. Will now protect their careers in the industry, and good enough, Zlatan doesn't even rely on the proceeds from the entertainment industry to survive these days. And this is what we do. We just pick up on one thing, we jump on the bandwagon, we roll with it a bit. It's no longer about Gurexi beating Baba, suppressing Baba, manipulating Baba, bullying Baba. It's now about VDM, who believes is a messiah that is going to change the world. And he's giving 24 hours to Zlatan. 24 hours is gone. When you give someone 24 hours, is that not a bully intent? Who the hell are you? Are you the court of law? Are you the police? Are you Jagaban? Are you Aso Rock in Nigeria? Are you federal? Who are you? You are just a maggot. You just someone who's just gone to fame
IT guy.
because you have some kind of foundation. I mean, there's a lot of rubbish going on here that people champion and take from platform to platform because they've already forgotten that Joseph Aloba and his lawyers have literally 100% failed Mohbad. Where you've got the public money to assist you to look for justice for your son, and it actually seems as